The Way Back. The Way Back is a drama sport movie about Jack Cunningham, who was a high school basketball phenomenon who walked away from the game forfeiting his future and turned to a self-destructive path of alcoholism. Jack's glory days are long gone, but as it turns out, not forgotten. Years later, he gets the chance to take back his life when he is asked to coach a struggling basketball team. Jack reluctantly accepts, surprising no one more than himself. He may get his last chance at redemption. The Way Back is directed by Gavin O'Connor and written by Brad Inglesby, starring Ben Affleck as Jack, Al Madrigal as Dan, and Janina Gavankar as Angela. So guys, The Way Back. I really did enjoy this film, and so much more so, and more to add on to that. I think it takes a extremely brave person to kind of throw themselves in the deep end and touch upon a subject matter and an issue base that actually is so close to home with Ben Affleck's private life. And I think that shows tremendous bravery as a person and also as a performer. So I just wanted to reiterate that. And Ben Affleck has my full support and my full-on love. So, but going into this, I was excited to hear that the director the director for this film, was for Warrior and The Accountant. I never got round to watching The Accountant, but I know a few of my friends have watched The Accountant and had a good time with that movie. And I obviously, I thought Warrior really did stand out to me. But one thing overall that I believe, this movie is a very deep character study, and very kind of character driven, with, I think, the main crux of the film being character development, especially with Ben Affleck. I think the film utilizes three great moments to show that he's a very human being. He's a very human person. And then another 2 times where we actually dislike him a lot. But it comes from the point of it being understandable. It doesn't come from a point of stupidity. I always like to look at character development in that light. If it comes from out of left field stupidity, then obviously you can spot it right out the sky. And obviously, because this is an issue-based film and it touches upon the element of alcoholism, they are, if anything, they are the most human of all people, because they feel emotions just like anyone else, if not even more heightened, due to their experiences that they've had to go through with their life. And I think this film showed another face, ultimately, of what alcoholism is. I mean, I've never seen, drinking addiction or in the addiction that this character has in the way that it was portrayed in this movie. I mean, the opening scene we get with Ben Affleck, I've never seen a guy take a shower and drink a beer first thing at, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning, wherever the case might be, or even earlier, because Ben Affleck's character works on the construction site. I mean, and then you get to see what happens behind closed doors, and you get to see them, how they actually interact with people. And you would never think that they would be going through this inner turmoil with themselves and this addiction of drinking. And I think where a lot of films have always shown characters that are addicted to drink, they're kind of all over the place and but it's almost like as if Ben Affleck's character, he's silently drowning and no one can notice. It's that kind of feeling, which I think it was done really well, and the cinematography was great. That if anything, that stood out the most. One of the elements of this film that stood out like a sore thumb was the cinematography, especially when it unravels Jack's first person ideology, the decision as to who he is today and why he's made the mistakes he has in his life. And it comes from a very understandable standpoint, you know. And I also think the movie depicted his relationship with his ex-partner really well, you know, and that she is just as flawed as him, you know. She's got her own turmoil, her own demons that she goes through, but obviously she doesn't do it in the sense of drinking. She does it in another attribute, so to say, you know. And that doesn't make her any more different to Ben Affleck's character. So, and also the camaraderie in his interactions with the basketball players, which is actually the main crux of the film, funny enough. I thought that was all handled really well, and obviously because the Jack is a flawed individual, he knows how to tap into the emotions of these kids, because he knows obviously what it was like to be that age, and he knows how to really pinpoint and get at them, you know. Because a lot of these kids are going through that, you know, somewhat that transition change of that period in their life where they turning from a boy into a man, you know, and they need someone to, you know, bring up to them, okay, do this but don't do that, and that's all coming from the point of view of Jack's character, which I think Ben Affleck done expertly in this film. I don't really know. I feel like this is a movie that could quite possibly grow onto me as time goes along. You know, at the moment, if I was, okay, so I'm going to give my rank for The Way Back. I'm going to give you know what, this give The Way Back earns an 8.5. It's the best movie so far of 2020 that I've seen. I've heard amazing things about Bad Education, so look out for a review for that very soon. So yeah, The Way Back, really good film. I think it's quite possibly on digital release, and if you're from the UK, that would quite possibly mean the go-to place for you would be the Sky Store, or look somewhere on Amazon, and it'll probably be there. And listen, wherever you're gonna rent it or buy it and have it forever, it's worth your money. It's worth it. And if you don't have anything else to watch, and my recommendation soothes your taste buds, go for it. Watch that film. But yeah, guys, that's going to conclude it. Click here if you'd like to see any more issue-based movies that touch upon divorce, gambling addiction, and and mental illness, that being Joker, Marriage Story, and Uncut Gems, that are on your screen. If you have not seen those reviews, and I know there's a lot of subscribers that are new to the channel, I haven't seen the majority of my work that I do here, so check them out, and look in the description, my most recent uploads. Thank you always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.